Hey there, everybody. How's everybody doing? Just checking in. If my mic is working or is it not working? So if you can hear me, please do. If you can hear me, please do. Hey there, everybody. Indicate if you can hear me. All right, so let's dive in. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Clarity Age, episode 44. Today, I will be talking about consultants and what are consultants. How can you ask some good questions to qualify consultants and not to confuse them with other types of people with knowledge, such as advisors, coaches, teachers, mentors, and so on. All right, let's first dive in. As usual, what is Clarity Age? Clarity Age is a weekly sharing. So I go around every week. I have different conversation with many different kinds of people, and generally I encounter certain challenges. Whenever I find that I repeat something more than once, I find it useful to just put my thoughts down, so that other people can listen to it. I can revise the information and see whether or not I have grown over the years. And more importantly, you can pick up some of my thought processes if you find that it makes sense to you. So it's weekly sharing of things that are related to business development and growth strategies. So generally, I'm very interested in business development as well as growth. So this is a pretty good platform for me to share my thoughts and ideas. Been doing it for coming to a year now. Started during COVID circuit breaker here in Singapore, a lockdown, and well, I guess I just never stopped, I guess. So here we go. What's the objective of Clarity Edge? We want to help you achieve clarity through simplicity, ultimately for you to achieve profitability. Now, what is a consultant? Now, firstly, we're going to talk about advice versus opinion, talk about how everyone has an opinion and how do we understand that. And we talk about how to choose a consultant, some questions you can ask to find out more, qualify them a little bit more, and some pro tips, things you can use immediately to handle this challenge. So first things first, advice versus opinion. First, we have to understand the difference. Now, when you go to somebody for firstly opinion, everybody has one. Everybody has one. Everybody is entitled to one. Everybody can have an opinion, right? You can have opinion about everything, right? From whether or not the coffee tastes nice, whether or not the green is green enough. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody, believe it or not, is entitled to their opinion because it's from their perspective and their point of view. However, advice is normally an input towards an uncertain future. So if you go to somebody for a piece of advice, you're asking them about their input regarding a particular outcome that nobody has predictable control or experience over. So for example, I want to ask you advice if this is a good girl for me to marry. Now, obviously, this is the girl is one of a kind. I'm one of a kind. The era we live in is one of a kind. And I'm just asking you for your advice. Now, have you yourself personally married this girl? No. She is not your ex-wife. Really weird. That would be a really weird situation. But yeah, understand that it's an uncertain future. You can advise me yes or no. You think it's a good idea or not good idea to marry this particular girl. But at the end of the day, it's an advice. You don't really know for sure. You don't exactly have a solid track record of advising people whether or not they should marry this specific girl or girls in general. So understand that advice are input towards an uncertain future. That's why advisors are so difficult to measure because they normally give advice towards an uncertain future. Investment, for sure, is an advice. You go for investment advice. You never go for investment consultant, right? Why? Because nobody can predict the future. Consultants are supposed to be good at something, but the market is just unique in every single second of the day. Now, when you consult somebody, you are seeking input towards a certain future. So, for example, if I am an interior designer, I've done HDBs, I've done like 1,000 HDBs. You are just the next 1,001 HDB. That would be an example of a certain future. I know how to do HDB houses. I know how to do a renovation for HDB house. I'm a consultant. You consult me because I am an expert at it. So I can be a wellness consultant. So I understand how to help people lose weight. I understand how to help people gain muscle mass and so on. Fitness consultant as well. Fitness coach, fitness, so on and so forth, right? So you actually know what you're doing, or rather the problem that you're trying to solve, you have solved 1,000 times before. The next problem you solve is very similar to this one. You might or might not make a living out of your consultancy, but yeah, you generally know what you're talking about. You're going to apply a particular framework or an idea. So it's pretty, basically there's a high degree of confidence when it comes to consultancy. Okay. Whereas advice is kind of like something that I want to advise, should I or should I not buy this stock, buy this share, right? Example of Bitcoin, somebody can give you advice whether or not you should buy Bitcoin. You can go to somebody for advice whether or not you should buy Bitcoin, but nobody is a Bitcoin consultant. Or they are actually a cryptocurrency consultant. They actually consult you on how to build your own coin, right? That's not really an advisor. It's a consultant. They actually know how to make coins or set up ICOs, right? Or build their own cryptocurrency, right? Blockchain consultants, they actually know how to do the programming or they know how to do the mining or whatever. So understand the difference. A certain future versus uncertain future, consultancy versus advisory. Quiz time. Here's some questions. First question: should I marry this girl? Right? Advice. Okay. How should I lay out my stall to maximize exposure? Consultancy. What color suit should I wear to that particular event? It's not advice, it's consultancy, because you actually are an image consultant. You know how to match and pair colors, match my skin tone, understand the theme of the event, understand the dress code, and advise me accordingly. And consult me accordingly. Everybody has an opinion. Understand this first. People do not pay for opinions, right? Opinions largely are non-binding. That means, hey, I'm just sharing my point of view. Don't hold me to it. Don't bind me to it. Don't say that it's like, don't hold me to it, right? It's actually just my opinion, right? I think that you should wear a tie, right? It's my opinion. I'm not certified, not qualified. I have no experience. People don't pay me for it. It's just a thing. It's something I say. Opinions are reactionary and not forward-facing. Generally, when I have an opinion, I'll just say something, or I will react to something, right? However, opinions do not project into the future. So, for example, it's my opinion that you should buy this stock or invest in Bitcoin. I would say it's my opinion, but hey, don't hold me to it. Money lose money or whatever. That's not my problem. It's just you asking me for my opinion. I'm just sharing it. It's at your own risk. I'm not going to hold accountable. I'm not going to be accountable and so on. You must understand that everybody talks, right? But not everybody is obligated to give advice. Sometimes they can just share their opinion without actually giving advice. Obviously, you will understand that if you're giving advice, you want to understand the situation, understand the needs, the requirements, understand the resources, and so on and so forth before they actually make a piece of advice, right? They don't just say something, right? Opinion, we can just talk over coffee, over dinner. Even you can just bump into each other at water cooler, you have an opinion already. Now, how to choose a consultant, right? This talk today is about consultancy, not about advisory. However, as an advisor myself, I have to be very clear of the difference, right? So that I know the different kind of things I'm saying to people. I can't just broadly share my views, because as an advisor, as a paid advisor, it's important that I know what I'm talking about, right? I take it seriously. First, in order to choose a good consultant, you must understand the problem that you're trying to address. You have to be very specific about this, right? So, for example, you need a marketing consultant, you need a branding consultant, you need an IT consultant. You need to be very specific. What's a specific problem you are trying to solve? That's how you look at it from a consultant point of view. You need to know a very specific problem, not just interior design. You need to have space management, space planning. You need to make sure that the space makes sense, the resources are well distributed, the colors, the matching, the way the eyeballs are matching, and so on. The eyeballs are being drawn by the colors and so on. So you need to have a specific problem. I want to hold attention. My goods and services are this kind of goods and services. I want it to be laid out in such a way that I can handle this number of people. You need to be really specific on the problem. You can't just go out there and just say that, hey, I want more sales. All right. If you go out there and say you want more sales, likely you're talking to an advisor, business advisor, rather than a consultant. As I mentioned, be ultra specific about it. Don't just know the problem, but be ultra specific about it. Now, ask questions about the track record, okay, of your consultant and see examples. Because consultants are supposed to talk about problems they have solved before, right? So they obviously have or rather they should have a very solid track record of them solving that specific problem. HDB interior designers, for example, or good class bungalow interior designers, they should have done a lot of good class bungalows, for example. They shouldn't be trying, they shouldn't be guessing, it shouldn't be the first attempt, they should understand it very well, done a lot of it before. right? They have experience and good and successful track record. So consultants must have good and successful track records, and you must demand to see the samples. You must understand their deliverables and understand their process, right? So consultants must have track record. Advisors, however, might not necessarily have that kind of track record, but they can talk about how their thought processes. So I repeat again, right? When you hire a consultant, right, you might not necessarily be very interested in their process, because to be honest, they're supposed to know their job, right? So if you're like a medical consultant, right, advising, you're going to consult me on how to do an operation. You're just going to roughly understand. You're going to cut me up. You're going to join the thing, and you're going to sew me up, right? So you don't really need to know his thought process, why he choose this drug, not versus that drug, why he choose between this chemical, not that chemical. You don't really want to know, because consultants are supposed to know their job. However, if you go after advisors, it's very important for you to know their thought process, because it's their thought process that you're going to put your challenge through, that he will come up with the advice. So it's quite important. Understand that your trust needs to be earned. No trust is given. If anybody say, why must you see so much thing, you don't trust me, is it? The answer is yes, of course I don't trust you. You haven't done anything or shown me anything that makes me obliged to trust you out of the blue. You need to earn it. So you need to show me your track record, show me what you have done, talk me through and guide me through your thinking and thought process. All right, here are some questions you can ask. Have you solved this specific problem before? Hey, have you solved this termite problem in a group class bungalow before, of this size? Have you solved a termite problem before? How do you know you were successful in solving the termite problem? Please tell me about it. Have you ever failed to solve a termite problem? How did you recover from this failure with the client? This is a very powerful question that I strongly recommend you ask your consultant. This will reveal to you their thought process and their philosophy. Can you show me samples of your process, of how you actually excel? No, show me samples, right? You don't necessarily need to know it, but you need to see the samples. Know that he has a process. You don't even have to understand it, you just need to see it. All right, here are some pro tips that you can apply when you are trying to engage and work with consultants. First, write down your problem in great detail. Please note the keyword, write it down. Okay, write down the problem. Ask questions to test for robust responses, not for facts. Then don't ask like, don't just focus on how big the company you're working for and stuff like that. Focus on like, hey, so if you fail to hit the first milestone, right? What will you do? Or what happens when your vendor don't deliver? Do you have a spare vendor? What happens when there's no vendor deliver? What happens when there's a delay? Is it normally delay, and what causes the delay? What if I, the client, don't participate and don't do my part? How will you handle it? You can ask to contact their past clients. Good consultants are very happy to pass you any past clients to talk about their working experience with them. This should be quite straightforward. Google them, see if there's bad news online or any good news online. All right, so that's all for this week's sharing of Clarity Edge, right? Episode 44. Thank you for checking this video out. If you want to find out more and continue to tap on my sharing and my input, do check out my YouTube channel, Clarity Edge, as well as join my private Facebook group called Clarity Edge. It's by invite only group, so I have to approve you, but please do join in. Lots of fun things happening there. All right, great. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.